me show you something here real quick. Okay, if you can see that, I don't know. The best of Jermaine Jackson, En Vogue. Ooh, I love En Vogue. En Vogue. Off the Wall. Now, clearly, this is a bootleg. This is not real. It's not real. It's generic. It's a knockoff. Whoever made this bootleg did not have the permission of the record company or the artist. It's a bootleg. It's a fake. You have to have the permission of the creators in order to manufacture a credible, valid disc. Because this same bootleg, if you get the permission from the record companies, the publishers, and the artists, this actually could be a legitimate copy instead of a bootleg. There are many of you, black power, black conscious, black whatever you want to call yourself. Y'all are a bunch of fakes. You put on these costumes. I call them costumes because you're supposed to be an African. What country does these African clothes and how you dress and how you talk and care? What African are you trying to be? You are a knockoff. You are a bootleg. You're not real. There are those who are angry at me because I refuse and I reject that we be called African. First of all, we've never lived on the African continent. And just because my mama was born in Mississippi, I live in St. Louis. What that has to do with me? Does that make me a Mississippian? No. I'm St. Louis. My mama was born in Mississippi. So it makes no difference. Technically, it don't make no difference where your ancestors came from. You are not them. My mama was born in Mississippi, and now I'm here in Missouri. I'm not, just because my mama was there, I was born in Missouri. The whole thing right off the bat don't make any sense. So how are we African Americans? We've never lived on the continent, period. Never. Going on 500 years. And you keep saying African. I will say this over and over again. Africa is a continent. It is not a people. It is not a human being. It is not a tribe. It is not a nation. It is a continent. When you're talking about being an African, be specific. Are you Rhodesian? Are you of Ghana? Are you a Somalia, a Nigerian, Congolese? What African are you trying to be? Whatever African you're trying to be, you're a bootleg. You're generic. You have never lived in Ghana. You have never lived in Somalia. You have never lived in Africa at all, period. So to call yourself African, I don't care what your grandmama came from. I don't care who your grandparents was. I don't care who your ancestors was. You are not an African, no matter how you slice the pie. You can get angry all that you want to. Logic, reality, common sense dictates. The criteria tells us that you are in error. You are in flaw. You are not. But you are a bootleg. You are fake African. You don't even know which one, you don't even know which African, you don't even know what people you're trying to be. You dress up in these costumes and you talk about you African. Which one are you trying to be? And you're not trying, and then you talk African, but you're not even trying to be real with it. Because far as I know, the African diet is much different than the American diet, but y'all go to McDonald's real quick. You go to Hardee's, you go to your favorite restaurant and get you some spaghetti or whatever. You're not eating no African food. I heard that the people on the continent, they love goat meat. How many of y'all love goat meat? You're not even trying to get any goat meat. You're not even trying to be an African. Y'all making that damn claim because you are a fake. You are African wannabe. You are bootleg. You are fake African. And the reason why you don't want to specify which African people that you trying to be is because they will tell you you are fake. You're not even trying to be like them. Even if you go visit, even if you go live, you're still going to live like how you live here in the United States. You're not trying to be like them. So what's the sense of talking about I'm an African and all this? You are a bootleg. You are a wannabe. You are a generic version of something that you've never been. The Arabs said that you are fake Muslims. There are many of y'all out here talking about Assalamu alaikum, brother, and all this wearing bow ties, and you dress up and try to look like Arabs, and they call you fake Muslims. I don't care if you practice Orthodox Islam. They call you fake Muslims. Because the American black man had nothing to do with Islam, period. It is not your nature. That's a damn lie. You don't have to teach nobody your nature. Islam was forced on dark-skinned people just like Christianity was. That's why many of them became Muslims. So since the Quran even says that it was given to the Arabs via Prophet Muhammad, given to them as a religion. It is not a nature. It is given to you as a religion. It is called a religion. It is not nature. Because nature you don't have to teach. You don't have to teach people about sex. You will figure it out. You don't have to teach nobody about taking a dump. You will figure it out. Anything natural, you will figure it out. But Islam, religious teachings, somebody has to brainwash you and teach you because it's not natural. And why would God give you Arab leftovers? If God is so great and so powerful, why when it comes to the Negro, why he's going to give us Arab hand-me-downs, Arab leftovers? And why would you accept that, knowing that somebody else had it? The religion is not virgin. That's because you are a generic. You're a generic Muslim. You're a generic African. You're a generic Moor. You're a generic bootleg Hebrew Israelite. You are a bootleg Egyptian from Kemet or whatever you call yourself. All these things because you had nothing. You had nothing to do with the creation of that identity. Since the people who created this music, they are the creators, they can determine what is real and what is fake. They will call this a bootleg. Even though it can sound and it might look like what they produce, but if you didn't get their permission, they had nothing to do with it, then it's fake. It's a bootleg. You had nothing to do with Islam. You have nothing to do with Africa. You have nothing to do with these identities. That makes you fake. You're a bootleg. Then you have the nerve to try to make mockery. Here you are, a copycat, the great pretender. You look funny with all these different clothes trying to be somebody you don't even know who the hell you're trying to be. You want to make mockery of somebody like me who tells us that we need to create our own identity based on our own uniqueness, understand who we are and what we become, and stop begging others for an identity, trying to force yourself on other people. You look silly and fake, bootleg. You're generic. I I would rather be original. I would rather do my own thing. I don't need no Arab. I don't need no damn Africans. I don't need nobody. I use my brain to create my own identity, create my own culture, my own way. The only one who could claim what I become is those that I give permission. Just like these other people created their identity, you create your own. The same way they created their identity, they got their gods, their cultures, their languages. You can do the same thing. What's wrong with you, soul brother and sister in America? You too damn stupid. You don't have no creativity. You don't have no imagination. You don't have no talent. Everything we get, we give it to Caucasian people. We let other folks have it. We give it whatever we have to the Arabs or to the Africans. You give yourself. That's why you don't have no identity. That's why you don't have nothing. Because everything that you are, you want to give it to everybody else. The hell with them. Then they turn around and you want to try to be part of them because you gave them part of yourself. Now they want to turn around and call you fake. They want to call you generic. You a bootleg. You a fake Muslim. You a fake African. Well, I got news for you, African. I got news for you, those in America. I got news for you, Arabs. I got news for all you suckers around the earth. We don't need your ass. We can do just fine without you. Because if we keep everything that we are the most talented on this planet. We are the wisest. We are the most humane. We are the most compassionate. We are probably one of the only people on this planet that can say we have not brought harm to nobody, except when we were fighting the cracker wars. But besides that, you can't say that we done anything to anybody. Thus, that's why you need to separate yourself from evil. Stop being a bootleg. Stop trying to force yourself on people who don't even like you, don't want you. They just want to use you for your talent and then talk about you like a dog. No, 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 no. You are smart. You are wise. You are intelligent. Wasting your energy and your time trying to be somebody who you're not. Don't even make sense. Whew. This just grinds my gears. I don't know where to start with this. Oh man. According to psychiatry, in this civilization, this nation, around the world, when you behave outside, or if you think outside of what has been acceptable by the normal people, so-called normal people, then you are considered insane. If I tell you about a pink elephant and everybody is not seeing the pink elephant, I am insane. If Godzilla is coming over the hill and you don't see Godzilla, I am insane because I'm seeing and my behavior is showing something that is abnormal. It is outside the norm and everybody else don't see it. However now, if you make a religion out of Godzilla, you make a religion out of pink elephants, and you can get people to believe that like they have done a religion, because many of the things that we talk about in religious teachings and spirituality, it would be considered insane. But under psychiatry, if you can get others to believe the same thing, the same abnormal, crazy stuff that you believe is no longer insane. So I don't know how in this nation and around the world they determine what is sane and what is not insane, because there is nobody being brought that's dead being brought to life. There are no spaceships running around doing nothing for nobody. There is no burning bushes. There's no virgins having babies. All this stuff would be considered insane, but it's not. So clearly, insanity in some form or another can be acceptable. So I'm dealing with a group of people who clearly are insane, but since many think that way, it's considered normal. It's acceptable insanity. This brings me to my topic, really, because this thinking for the descendants of slaves born in America, we are filled with all kinds of insane, not well thought out mindset mentality. I wonder if the so-called black man or any man, do you believe that women, do you believe that females are human beings? The way you talk, the way you want to rape, the way you lust, the way you don't care if a woman is a prostitute. You don't care if she's a stripper. All that's well and good. Here you are, a man. Women are not human, some type of play toys, something for you to screw around with. Women ain't human, but don't talk about your mama. But your mama is a woman. So if you degrade, if you see a woman as something to play with, a toy, then you also saying the same thing about your mama, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your sisters, your female cousins and aunts and so forth. Y'all damn fools. So when you think these things about a woman, when you call a woman a ratchet and a harrogant hooligan and all this other nonsense that y'all come up with, then you saying the same thing about your mama and your daughter and your female cousins and your aunts. You're saying the same thing. They fall into the same category. But since they related to you, but that don't mean nothing. See, because your mama and your daughter, they're not related to me. So I don't mind her being a stripper. I don't mind her being a hoe. I don't mind her being exploited. The same way that you look at my daughter. Insanity. We are surrounded by insanity. There's a brother of whom have been listening to my observation and my suggestions and advice for a period of years. And I'm not going to say that I'm shocked, because I'm surrounded by people who are insane. So this is the reason why you won't come and help me, because you are part of the insanity. You are part of the madness. You don't want to come help me. You don't want to accept reality, because actually you love being part of the insanity. He's going to say on Facebook, I became a man when I laid down with two women, when I laid down with two queens. What queen, what type of woman that is royalty is going to lay down with a nobody like you? They are queens, they are royalty. What woman with that type of mindset, that have any type of high self-esteem for herself, is going to lay down with you? And what are you going to give her? Absolutely nothing. Unless she's a prostitute. And you call these women that's acting like hoes, and you would turn around and call these queens a bitch. These queens, you lay down, they make you a man because you lay down with them. And I asked him, is that all it takes? That's all it takes for you to be a man? You became a man because you slept with two women? If that's the case, then a dog can be a man. If that's the case, not only can a dog sleep with more than two bitches, excuse my language, but if the dog can mess around and lay down with more than two bitches, matter of fact, actually the dog can lay down in this society with two queens, two women. So does that make a dog a man? Again, what queens behave like that? Having so low self-esteem, so in a bad condition, they just lay down for you to make you a man. What is the benefit to them? You become a man, that's the benefit. What does that have to do with them? Now, he goes on to say that people with a European mindset wouldn't understand how a man can have 1,000 women, marry 1,000 women, and so forth. And so my reply to him is, what's wrong with the woman having 1,000 men? Vice versa. It's always the men that have to have all these women to sleep around with. Are we herd animals? Are you a goat? Are you a cow? Are you a bison? You some type of herd animal where there's one male? And if you are a herd animal, then the dominant males will kick your ass and take your women away from you. Again, it goes back to the mentality. We have become insane. And this comes from our obsession with Africa and African culture. The people. There is no Africa. Africa is a continent. But then there are people on the continent that practice polygyny or polygamy, however y'all want to pronounce it. You don't know the reason why. Most times this was done because when tribes went to war, the husbands of the women would be killed, and then the brothers that was left behind would take these the fallen soldiers, their wives and children in, so they don't mess around and be on the street, and they would take care of their brothers that died in action. Not necessarily, it's not a sex thing. To take care of them, to take care of them. So he wants these women, and he tells me, well, what's good for me might not be good for you, or what's good for me might not be good for you, or whatever. That's not the point. The point is, again, I don't have no problem with polygamy at all. My problem is exploitation of women, exploitation of children, taking advantage of people for your benefit. What is the benefit to them? You want to lay around with women, and you want to have these children, and you want to become a man, but while you doing all this talk, you're not talking about providing anything. You're not talking about protecting. You're not talking about taking them out of the land of the races, giving them their own land, building your own schools, creating your own water system, creating your own government, taking care of all your 1,000 women and these children. The only thing you want to do is brag about, I became a man because I slept with 2 women. That's not hard to do. 20, 40 bucks, you can sleep with 2 women easily. Go out in the street, you might be able to do it for less than that. So what? There's a lot of men who became men that way. So what? It's so personal. The bedroom, being intimate with somebody, that's a personal thing. No woman in her right mind wants to share her man. Nobody. You don't want to share your woman with another man, knowing that another man is so close, having that type of relationship with your woman. So why would a woman want to share and do that? These are things that men have forced upon womanhood. It's exploitation, and I don't like it because I love life and I love human beings, and this ministry stands for freedom, justice, and equality for all. And you want to treat women like they have done for thousands of years, like a common whore and a bitch and all these things that you really are. You are the first whore and the first bitch. And you turn around and you make this out of another human being. Again, you're not thinking about your mother, because if this is good for these women, must be good for your mom. So if you can accept your mama being one out of 1,000 women for some man, your sister, your daughter, well, okay, well, if that's a society you want, I won't be part of your society. A society filled up with a bunch of unnatural freaks. And above all, you a man now, but you live in the house with the white man that you talk about. And you're not going to go nowhere. It's like chickens living in the house with a fox. And you think that the fox is going to treat you right. The fox eat chickens. These races in this country, going on 500 years, have done nothing but dirt, murder, lynchings, discrimination. The list goes on and on. You see no signs of them changing, because they are the fox, you are the chicken. But now you become a man and you're going to actually live in the house with a man with this type of mentality, putting your wife and your children in danger, being dependent on this food for food, clothing, and shelter. Y'all some sick, the dark European, y'all some confused, strange, messed up individuals. And then you become obsessed with this African stuff because your massa told you African. You ain't African, you a slave. You ain't never been to no Africa. Don't know nothing about no Africa. No African people at all. The only thing you know about is slavery, and you continue to have the slave mind. Then you put some African frosting on top of it. It's really sad. I just had to get that off my chest because I don't like to see people being exploited. And as far as I'm concerned, polygamy is nothing but exploitation of women. And I'll be damned if I want to see my mother, my daughter, and female cousins and aunts to be treated like that. Because I'm trying to understand why y'all love this world. You love this society. You are actually comfortable in insanity, in madness. Because if you wasn't comfortable, just like if you throw a person in a fire, you're not going to be comfortable in that. You're going to do everything that you can to get the hell out of that fire burning you, because you are not comfortable. It's burning you alive. You need to get out. But when you're comfortable, you'll stay in the fire. It's nice and warm. It's cool. So clearly, you are comfortable because you're not really making the effort. I mean, you talk. Y'all talk. But you're not really making the effort to separate yourself or leave up out of a violent or you're not willing to make the necessary sacrifice to change this environment for your children, let alone for yourself. You're not willing to do that because you're comfortable. Or I guess you can say, well, I'll let my children do that. That's so selfish. That's so, wow. You should be ashamed of yourself. But I was just thinking, in this world, I just buried my granduncle. he was 98 years old. And you know, when we bury our loved one or somebody that we care about or somebody that we admire, we always say, rest in peace. So when Michael Jackson passed this life, we say, rest in peace, Michael. When Prince and Whitney Houston passed this life, we say, rest in peace. Brother AdMinister Malcolm X Shabazz, the celebration of his birth anniversary, we wish him and say, rest in peace. And I guess when you look at it on its surface, this is just the norm. We are used to saying that. However, I was just thinking, and some of you probably already know what I'm going to say, but I'm just going to say it so you don't have to wonder, because you probably wondered it yourself. We always say rest in peace for those who have died. But we never say rest in peace to those of us who still live. You know why? Because for the living, there is no peace. I'm not going to tell the living when Michael Jackson, Prince, Whitney Houston, Malcolm, any of us who were alive, there is no resting in peace. Somebody is going to punch you in your face, slander your name, gossip, break in your house, shoot you in the backside, rape your mama, molest your children, raise oil prices so that you have to pay more for gas to go to work on your slave job. There is no rest for the weary. There is no resting in peace for those of us that live. Why is that? So it don't even make no sense. You cannot have any peace until you die. But see, actually, that's a reality. There is really, see, I'm not shocked. I'm just making an observation. Because see, y'all, the reality is, as long as we live in life, there is no peace as we believe. Because as long as you are alive, there's always going to be motion. There's always going to be activity. When you look at a highway, there is motion, constant motion, cars going back and forth. But sooner or later, you're going to have an accident. You're going to have a moment of violence, because that's life. In the universe, you have stars exploding and meteorites going back and forth, stones crashing into one another. Your body maintains a temperature of 98.6, 98.7, 98.6. That's very, very hot. Something has to burn. Something has to be destroyed. There has to be internal combustion, internal violence in order for you to be alive. There's a war, a microscopic war going on in your body right now that you don't even know nothing about. Your antibodies is always fighting germs and other bacteria that's trying to invade your body that could cause you to be sick. Violence is always violence. Even your heart beating, whoosh, whoosh, throwing blood, forcing that blood through your vein, whoosh, whoosh, is violence. So technically we are correct. Rest in peace. Because for Michael, for Whitney, for Malcolm, for Prince, for my granduncle, and one day for all of us, we will rest in peace. Because death is the only place where you will be able to find true peace. So if you're saying that Islam, for those of you who are Muslims, if you're saying that Islam is a religion of peace, then actually what you're really saying is that Islam is a religion of the dead. Because as long as you're alive, there is no peace. You cannot even, you have to destroy. Something has to die in order for you to live. If you're a meat eater, you're going to kill a chicken, you're going to kill a duck, you're going to kill a goose, a cow, or whatever meat. You are even if you're a vegetarian, you're going to kill a carrot, you're going to kill a stalk of corn. Something has to be destroyed. Something has to suffer violence in order for you to live. So there is no peace in life. But what we are seeking, I call it controlled violence, because we have to, and we know we're going to have to deal with violence. That's life. Life is violence. It is not peace. Again, going back to the cars, whenever you have motion. But the reason why you don't have constant accidents on the highway is because of there's a law. You have stoplights. You have traffic cops. You have people that drive with some sense. There are things in the system so you don't have this constant crashing of the cars. So your body is within some type of law. And when it goes outside of that law, when it goes either too much in this direction or that direction, then we return or we go to the realm of our ancestors. Then we die. But life is about motion. Life is about movement. And so when we look at the people of soul, and I'm just keeping it real 1000%. When we look at the people of soul, the so-called Negro in America, the descendants of slaves born here in North America, as a people, as a group, there is no movement. And when you don't have any movement, then you are considered dead. There is no movement in the graveyard. When your car battery is dead, your car won't start because it's dead. There is no movement. There is no energy. And we lack the energy. But while we live, we have not learned how to have balance in our life so that our highway is not filled with these unnecessary crashes, because there's going to be violence. I don't care how much you love somebody. Even in love, there's violence. There are people who have murdered their father, murdered their mother, sisters, and cousins, or whatever, and they love them. So violence is a part of life. It's something that we can't avoid. We need violence in order to live, period. Our problem in this life is excessive violence. If the sun began to act in an excessive manner, this planet that we live on, we would either burn up or get cold as hell or freeze to death. There is balance in the violence. That's what we're looking for. But when you can't control the violence, when there's no law, when things are out of control, then you end up in an atmosphere of death. So the religious teachers say, we walk in the valley of the shadow of death. But you do fear evil. That's why you lock your car doors. That's why you carry a gun and a knife, pepper spray. You do fear evil. Because you understand that you live in excessive violence. And you will not rest in peace until you die. But I think it's a shame, though, really, that we can't experience a form of peace. I mean, the ultimate form of peace, of course, is death. But you would think we should be able to experience some kind of peace while we're alive. Although, in order for us to exist, the reality is there must be some type of violence. But when you have excessive violence, when we are outside of the norm that nature itself has developed, which took millions of years to create, then we walk in that fine line. And that fine line, the ultimate result can be the extinction and the wresting of peace, the end for that life form. Maybe that's good. Maybe it's good that human beings destroy themselves, because there's no benefit to the earth, no benefit to the plants or the animals. All human beings do is take. They're not giving to the planet. We'll entitle this video, Why Black Men Ain't Brave. Just the title will piss some of y'all off. I already know that. You don't like the title. Well, I don't care personally what you don't like. I don't care personally what I don't like. The purpose of this ministry, the purpose of this platform is to bring us truth. And a part of truth dictates that we embrace reality. Now, let us be just. Let us be fair. And let us say that there are always exceptions to the rule. However, it is quite clear, going on 500 years, there is no evidence, there is no sign to show that black men are brave. Black men have courage as a group in general. Again, always exceptions to the rule. Brother, man, you full of nonsense. There are millions of black men, and have always been thousands and millions of black men in this nation. And if you want to refute what I say, then you bring me evidence where they have made as this million, as these thousands. I'm not talking about Nat Turner. I'm not talking about these small rebellions. I'm talking about the thousands and now the millions of black men who sit on your ass and don't do nothing, living in the house of your oppressor. You show me where these black men have stood up in any kind of way against their oppression. Oppressor. Show me. You can't show me. And the reason why you can't show me is because they are not brave. And you are not brave for a reason, and we're going to talk about it. It is a theory, not quite factual, but there has to be some type of logical explanation for your behavior, because any male, even if you go into the animal kingdom, any male, especially when it comes to his female and his children, you will see that male willing to die and do what is necessary to protect that woman and protect those children. You do not see that coming from within the so-called American Negro male. You don't see that. You have no history. Many of you talk about, I'm a king. We come from kings and queens. Well, apparently, none of that rubbed off on you. You show no signs you ever was some king. You show no signs that you ever been a warrior or a soldier, except when the racist pink man give you your marching orders and you run to the military to defend not your neighborhood, not your women, not your children, but the very man that put you in the horrid condition that we find ourselves in right now. I want to give a thank you to my bully. I want to show y'all a picture of my bully. Where is he at? This is my bully, John Williams in school. He bullied the hell out of me, John. I heard that John is no longer with us, and I'm going to say that may he rest in peace. I have nothing against Mr. Williams. Although he bullied me, he did cause me harm, but he also taught me a lesson. He taught me a lesson, and he put me in place. He put me in a place. Whereas I can speak the way that I do now. I can speak strong. I can speak loud, and I don't give a damn. I don't care nothing about death. I don't care nothing about being hurt. I don't care nothing about jail. I don't care about none of those different things because of this bully. Because the courage and that which makes one brave, he brought that and put that in me now. And I thank him for that. Because he pushed me and pushed me to the point where I couldn't take it no more. And I became like Popeye the Sailor. I've stood all I can stand. I cannot stand no more. And I began to go off. And that's the first time I was called crazy. As long as I allowed people to kick me in the backside, make mockery of me and all these things, there was no problem. But as soon as you stand up for yourself, then there's a problem. It's the same thing dealing with the Caucasian, racist, pink people in this nation. As long as you're docile, as long as you stay in your place, control your damn mouth, it's all right. But as soon as you stand up for yourself, soon as you become brave, now there's a problem. But the black man in this nation, the very instinct, the very nature of being a warrior, of being a soldier for yourself has been destroyed. You need a John Williams in your life. You need somebody to beat your ass. Excuse the language, little children's. You need somebody that whooped your backside till you can't stand it no more. Right now, the reason why you're not brave, the reason why you're not a warrior, because you waiting on your mama and your daddy to protect you. Who is the mama? Who is the daddy? Who is your daddy? You call him the man. When black men say, hey, look out, here come the man. Who is the man you're talking about? You're talking about the white man. Because actually, you call him the man Because actually, he is your parent. He created you. He is more than just a massa. He is more than just a slave owner. The Caucasian man actually created the black man. Not God, not some aliens. The Caucasian man created you and me. And whether you like it or not, that's the reality of it. He created you the same way he done chickens and cows. He take cows and you breed a cow. This cow you breed so that you can get milk. This cow you breed so you can have more beef. This cracker, these devils took dark-skinned human beings, whether they were here or they came from Africa, wherever he found them, he don't give a damn. The only thing he knows is that I conquer these people and I'm making a slave out of them. He blended these dark-skinned people together, of whom most would have nothing to do. If you look at the story roots, they came from different tribes, spoke different languages. They had nothing to do with one another. This explains your behavior. Because if you look at Africa or dark-skinned people on the planet right now, no matter where you go, I don't care what the Europeans or the Chinese or anybody else do, they will not unite to save their life. They have that much hatred, or they just don't want nothing to do with another dark-skinned person. They would rather catch hell. And that's what you have been doing, and that's what has been done to dark-skinned people, catching hell for now thousands of years with this attitude. And so he blended all these dark-skinned people together who didn't like each other. And you don't like me. I know some of y'all right now. It's not because you black, man. It's because of what you say. No, it's because that's how it is with us. So you have all these different dark-skinned people who don't like one another. Then you have the Caucasian races themselves actually rape the black woman and put his DNA inside of this new breed. Over a period of time, he gets a brand new creature, and he calls that creature black. He calls that creature Negro. And the Negro and the black has no direct connection to those who live in Senegal or the Congo or the Native Americans or anybody. The black, the Negro, is a hybrid or mutation created by Caucasian people for the sole purpose of being a perfect slave. And that's your whole mindset and attitude. You're a damn slave. You waiting on your massa to do whatever needs to be done, because that's the mentality of a slave. And the reason why you cannot rebel against the Caucasian people is because he's your daddy. He made you. It reminds me of that science fiction story, RoboCop. And they programmed RoboCop, directive number 4, I believe. And RoboCop could not attack an officer of the corporation that created him. Oh, directive number 4. RoboCop could not attack any officer of the corporation that created him. When that Caucasian man put his DNA within you, you already view him as your massa. But he's also your father. There is a DNA directive inside of you. You can't do nothing to them. So you will fight when he sends you to war. Sick him. Here, go sick North Korea. Go sick Afghanistan. Go like a dog. Go sick them. There you go. But you will not fight for yourself. You will not do for yourself because you wasn't programmed that way. You a slave under directive number 4. Don't attack your massa. So anytime anybody say anything against white folks, y'all the first one. Caucasian people don't have to say nothing. The slave, the Negro, the dark European, y'all will go to their defense. Don't have to say nothing. Go sick them. So the Caucasian will sick you on me, sick you on brothers and sisters who have become the exception. Some of y'all think that y'all are the exception, but you're really not. You have no history of being a warrior or no soldier. You have no history. You have no connection to no royal family. The only connection you have is to a whip. You have been and you were created to be the world's most perfect slave. That's the reality you don't want to face. You want these goody two-shoe stories and fantasy stories to be told to you. I'm not going to do that. If you really was a brave man, black man in Atlanta, in St. Louis, in New York, in Chicago, and let us use Chicago for an example. If the black man really was a brave, courageous man, there would be no gangs terrorizing your community, your neighborhoods. Your babies can't play in the street. Your women can't sit on the porch. Your grandma can't sit on her porch and peel some tomatoes and snap some green beans for dinner without worrying, I wonder if there'll be a drive-by and I get shot. If the black man was brave, you will wait on the police because you will obey the law. You're a good citizen. But when the law fails, then you will call your fellow soldier. You will call your fellow brother out in the neighborhood. I don't care what other black men do in their neighborhood. But here, these brave black men get together and we're going to stop this nonsense. The only thing y'all want to do is sit on your ass, watch LeBron James play basketball, go to work and drink beer, and these hoodlums is terrorizing your neighborhood. When the so-called brave men, you outnumber the hood, the thugs and the hoods 10-1. They can't do nothing with you. But you're not brave. You're lazy as hell. You'd rather sit back and wait for your daddy, the police, who will come to the neighborhood and probably shoot you before he shoots